let's start with the Chargers,
Yeah.
sir. One of my favorite Harbaugh sound bites already of the season was Jim saying essentially that Justin Herbert's biggest issue is how everyone else has to play up to his level. Like he's waiting for everybody else to get to his level. Yeah. How did that one land?
I think it's just his challenge to the rest of the team. Really, is like I think the job of anybody who's coaching on the offensive side of the ball, and in this case, is the head coach who has influence on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
I would argue that infusing your quarterback with confidence might be the most important job that you have. And there's nobody better than Harbaugh. Like, even the thought of, like, what does he need to improve on would imply that there's something wrong with Justin Herbert, and he won't accept that.
Right.
So he's filling him full of confidence, and now it's, hey, this is a challenge to everybody else. Like, we got to get better. And I think a lot of that goes back to that last game. I mean, that playoff game against Houston where he got the stuffing kicked out of him by Will Anderson and that defensive front. I think that's kind of Jim's way of challenging the rest of the group of, like, hey, this thing didn't end the way we wanted it to last year. And, you know, I know you had the interceptions, but that game was not Justin's fault. This is on the rest of us here to pick it up.
Is it fair to say the biggest improvement on the offensive side to try and pick it up on Herbert's behalf is the running back room for the Chargers? Do you think?
I love that kid on tape studying Omari and Hampton going through the spring, and then seeing him in person yesterday with that snowman, the number 8 on a running back, which still takes getting used to see those single digits.
Right.
Richie's huge. He's explosive. And I think sometimes you can look at it and say, oh, they're committed to the run. They're a physical team. But there's an explosive element that I think was missing there, where some of those 10-yard runs, some of those 8-yard runs, and J.K. Dobbins, when he was out there, popped a couple. Healthy, popped a couple long ones. This guy's going to hit some big home runs. You know, with Joe Alt and Mekhi Becton on the right side of that line and Rashawn Slater on the left side.
Freshly paid.
There's going to be opportunities for some explosive plays. And then Najee, you know, I don't know where that stands and when they get him back in the mix, but now you've got kind of a 4-minute back who can just be kind of a pounder. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
What about the receiver room? Tell me about that. What do you got for me there?
Well, I mean, look, Quentin Johnston is to the point now where he's got his critics, and if he catches 50 touchdowns in training camp and drops a ball, we know which one's going to make its way onto social media. But the guy had 8 touchdowns last year, did some nice things. They feel that he's got another level to take his game. Trey Harris, the rookie out of Ole Miss, I talked to him yesterday out there at practice, and Rich, this guy's already, I saw it with McConkey the year before, where the way they talk, they carry themselves, like there's a professionalism, there's an intelligence. I think he's going to be able to get on the field and have an impact right away.
Ladidi McConkey, as he was dubbed from that very chair.
Do you ever get the credit for the origination of that?
It wasn't me. It was the teacher that was here in the form of, our friend Keegan Michael Key. Yeah. Well, and also, was that Ken Tulo of our producers? He came with Ladidi McConkey.
Well done.
It's a team. It's a team effort around here.
I hear you.
But Lad McConkey, we saw what he could do last year. How much better do you think he can be? Like, what does that even look like this year?
I would say, look, he doesn't need to get quicker, doesn't need to get faster. I don't think he needs to get stronger. To me, the level where this thing levels up is just him and Herbert, more time together. They were on the same page pretty much last year.
Yes.
But you saw it with, Peyton and his guys. Like when you can put years and stack years together, Brady with Edelman, those type of relationships where you know exactly what's happening, you're seeing the same picture. I think that's where that goes, to another level. But man, that game, that playoff game that I referenced, you see the images on the screen there against Houston. I mean, the game didn't go the way the Chargers wanted, but that was an unbelievable performance by that dude.
He was a revelation last year. Obviously, with the quarterbacks, which we'll get to in a second for year 2, he was worthy of being in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Obviously, Offensive Rookie of the Year was going to go to a quarterback, but he was stellar. And the question is, defensively, what do we have on defense for the Chargers here?
I think one of their big offseason developments for them was keeping Jesse Minter. Like, I thought he would have an opportunity, if not in the NFL, that some big college program would try and throw the keys to him and give him a bunch of money. But getting him back as a defensive coordinator, this group last year statistically was exceptional, and they don't give up big plays. They've reinvested in their defensive line. You think about the outside linebackers. Bosa's gone. But you've got Bud Dupree back. You've got Khalil Mack. You've got Tuli Tuipulotu. They draft Kennard out of South Carolina, who had all those sacks in the SEC last year. So they're still real firm on the edges, and they've gotten bigger with their defensive line. So I think they're going to be good there. Deion Henley, spoke with him yesterday. Thought he should have been a Pro Bowl linebacker last year. He's got another level that he can get to. Derwin James, playing as that big nickel is a playmaker for him. I mean, they've got a lot of pieces, man. And look, talent. They've always had talent on this team. This will be my 8th year doing their games. I've never come into a season and thought, man, they don't have a chance. But now they have a mission and a culture that's been established by Harbaugh, and now you combine it with Joe Ortiz continuing to build up this roster. I mean, there's a quiet confidence there.
So the measuring stick is right there in week 1, though, right? I mean, right away against the, is it now 3-time defending AFC champion?
Well, they've won the division, I believe, 9 in a row.
Chiefs,
so
right? So I guess it's right off the bat. We're going to see what's what when it all comes down to it, because they do have the tools to win the division. If everything breaks. They have to win, game 1. That's number 1, because that's the team that you have to beat to win the division. And then their next 2 are in division. They start with 3 games in division to start the season. So that's the measuring stick right off the bat for the Chargers.
I mean, I think Brockman, if we wanted to measure Brockman as a man, we'd take him to a Brazilian steakhouse. You want to measure the Chargers as a team, you got to go to Brazil and take on the Chiefs. It's just,
that's it.
Those are the rules. Just find out right out the chute where you stand and where you need to get better, and how this thing stacks up. Every year we talk about the Chiefs being vulnerable. Every year we talk about, who's going to close the gap. I think it's the requirement that you have a segment in every training camp show of who can run down the Chiefs in the AFC. So why not measure yourself up against them right out the chute?
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.